Welcome to this Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous class guide for the Kinetic Demon build. Please be advised that I have no experience with playing this class build personally, but that the guide is based upon information found online, both provided by Whoopidoo22 and Reddit, and the class build itself is made by InEffect's over at Neoseeker. I'll provide a link to the class build guide itself over at Neoseeker in the description of the video, and of course all credit for the class build setup does go to InEffect, Shortamok, and What is Sol, who are the authors of the guides over at Neoseeker. I have benefited greatly from the guides that these people have made over at Neoseeker back when I played Kingmaker, and I'm hoping that my video here can also give their guides some visibility and love. But with that said, let's get on to the guide itself. So, the Kineticist is said to be the class in the game that can dish out the highest damage, but in addition to that, one of the strongest, perhaps the strongest crowd control classes in the game. However, to achieve those results, there are some key important choices that you have to make when you are building and leveling your character, and also some few important things that you absolutely should know. One of the key things to know about the Kineticist is that it makes use of elemental combinations, some of which are very strong, others which are not. This build makes use of an earth, fire and water combination. Your composite blasts are the blasts that you will use to really dish out damage with, but they do give you burn, which we will get back to, and also what infusions you pick will be very important for how the class plays out. Some examples of infusions and how they perform are extended range. This is a must-have as it is both important for the extended range, but it is also a prerequisite for other infusions that is important for the build. Then we have Deadly Earth, which can destroy an entire encounter, especially if you combine it with a bowling infusion. We have Cloud. This one is similar to Deadly Earth, but it cannot be combined with the bowling infusion, so you'll have to look at other combinations for this one. Wall. This is like a budget Deadly Earth that you'll get sooner, and it's when you get this infusion that the class really starts to shine as a huge damage dealer, and if you combine it with a pushing infusion, it can get quite hilarious. Then we have the bowling infusion, which is one of the best crowd control sources in the game, especially if you buff it with feats. And finally pushing, which is mostly useful together with the wall infusion, otherwise it is mostly a gimmick. As a Kineticist, you will have substantial freedom with regards to what feats you can pick. As an example of feat combinations that synergizes with your infusions, you have the 3 feats Trip, Furious Fall and Greater Trip. If you have picked those 3 feats, your bowling infusion turns your Kineticist from a damage dealer only into a crowd controlling machine. The Kineticist playstyle is described by the game as one of the most difficult classes to play, but most of how it plays out is fairly self-explanatory. But one of the challenges lies with how you manage the gather power aspect, and then your burn. When you gather power, you take less burn, whereas burn is caused by your stronger attack combinations, like say if you do a composite blast instead of a simple blast, or if you improve a blast with, for instance, the Deadly Earth or the bowling infusions. Burn does offer some advantages, but it is very important that you manage how much burn you get. When you've created a new Kineticist, you will notice that you have 3 different gather power levels to choose between: low, medium and high. You want to make sure that you do not gather power more than once between each attack, so that you can alternate between doing a blast, then you gather power, then you do a blast, and then you gather power, and then so forth. The goal is to maintain your burn at 0. However, every time you level up your Kineticist, the burn that you receive from your various abilities changes, and this can make playing a Kineticist both confusing and sometimes challenging. The best way you can figure out how much burn you will pay for using an ability is to pay attention to the icon of the blast that you want to use. What you want to aim for is using your standard blast, which gives you 0 burn, together with the low gather power setting. This will ensure that you are attacking as fast as possible with the strongest possible blast and not getting burn. Then, you want to combine your high gather power for the occasional stronger attack that you might want to use. Consider putting your default 0 burn blast in your auto attack slot for ease of using the class. Another suggestion to make note of is that you probably should consider using your high-powered blasts in the beginning of an encounter, and then switch over to using the regular zero burn blast after that. So, use high gather power at the start of an encounter to do things like an empowered pushing wall or an empowered maximized bowling deadly earth, and then switch over to using the regular blasts while you and your party just dominates the encounter. When you master these things, you should be able to deal with even the most difficult encounters in the game, even at the unfair difficulty setting. Also, just as a final note here before we move on to the build itself, the area of effect issue that most casters in the game struggles with, for instance, you have a wizard who has cast a spell of grease on the ground and you have to wait for the grease to dissipate before moving on, or else your party members will spend ages slipping and falling on the grease. This is not a problem for a kineticist, because a kineticist can only have one example of each shape up at a time. Thus, if you have a wall of deadly earth or deadly earth that you would like to get past, just cast it again somewhere out of the way and the previous one will disappear. So, the kinetic demon has synergy which is basically through the roof. You can somewhat neglect dexterity and rely on rage to carry you. The demonic spell difficulty classes are awful, which makes it a perfect fit for Enforce Vigor. The aspect of Calavacus is absolutely broken together with the kineticist trips. The guy doesn't want to spoil the interaction, but it is insane and hilarious at the same time, while the aspect of Balar both charges the DC further and buffs the team for free. The build doesn't really need much in way of mythic feats, so it can actually take trips, spell penetration and whatnot without hurting your bottom line. And this specific build also has one level of Zen Archer Monk, just in case you want to do a little bit of melee, and then also Perfect Strike is nice for that as well. In addition, Life Bane can absolutely be cast on your Kinetic Blade for added hilarity. And InEffect ends the little text blurb there by writing, "Have fun with it while it lasts," suggesting that this probably will be patched out, because, yeah, it might be a little bit too overpowered. Then again, when you have this many classes as this game offers, it is difficult to get balancing done right. So a quick overview is that you are performing the role of a control and damage dealer. You will of course select the Kineticist as your class. Note, the base Kineticist, not any of the sub-classes. For race, you will pick human, because that is the best race selection for this specific build. Your background, you will want to go to Street Urchin and pick the Pickpocket background, because this gives you a +2 bonus on initiative rolls, which is fairly important for this build. You also get Trickery and Stealth as class skills, which is also quite useful. As for your ability scores, this is how you want to set them up. You want to pick Constitution as your +2 racial bonus ability score. Then you want to lower your Strength to 7. You want to set your Dexterity to 16, Constitution to 19, your Intelligence to 10. Then you will have to put your Charisma down to 7 before you can then put your Wisdom up at 16. As for your skills, you want to take 1 point in Mobility, 1 point in Trickery, and 1 point in Perception. For your first feat, you're going to want to pick Point Blank Shot. For your bonus feat as a human, you will want to pick Precise Shot. For your Elemental Focus, you want to pick Earth. For your first infusion, you want to pick the Extended Range. As mentioned previously, that is a prerequisite for some of the other infusions you want to take. You can see here that there are, for instance, the Bowling Infusion. You must have one of the following features: Earth, Magma, Metal, or Mud Blast, and you have to be Kineticist level 4. See here, if here, for instance, Deadly Earth has one of the following features: Extended Range. So, Extended Range, both useful because you now can strike any target within 50 feet, which is quite nice, but also because you want to take some of the infusions that has this as a prerequisite. Now, if we look at the class itself, it's going to be fairly nice in terms of the infusion, in terms of the wild talents and so forth. You are going to get a feat every second level. And you are also going to be getting an infusion on level 1, 3, 5. And then at level 9, 11, 13, 17, and 19. And then you get wild talents. These are some various Kineticist specific talents that you can pick. But note that these can also give you Kineticist bonus feats. And some of these you will be making use of the Kineticist bonus feat for Earth to acquire. When we get to the deity, I've picked Asmodeus as the deity. You want to make sure that you pick a deity that does not lock you out of being evil. And if you want to pick up that one level of Zen Archer Monk, then you will also want to make sure that you are not barred out from being lawful evil. However, in terms of alignment, I recommend starting out, or rather InEffect recommends starting out as neutral evil, and then when you get closer to the level where you are going to take the level of Zen Archer Monk, just make sure that you do lawful actions so that you can go into lawful evil, and then you can always just use a Scroll of Atonement to go back to being neutral evil. Now, for the leveling guide, I've already gone through what you want to take on level 1, so we move on to level 2. Again, Kineticist is the class that you're going to pick for all of the levels up here, so I'm just going to say Kineticist, like for instance I'm going to say level 2 Kineticist, and that means that you're going to take one more level into Kineticist, with the exception of level 14, which is where you will want to pick the Zen Archer level if you want to multi-class your character. So, level 2 Kineticist, and here you're going to pick Elemental Whispers and select Lizard. Level 3 Kineticist, you are going to pick Weapon Focus Ray and Kinetic Blade. Level 4 Kineticist, you're going to pick Earth and then you're going to pick Trip. Level 5 Kineticist, you're going to pick Furious Fall and Bowling. Level 6 Kineticist, you're going to pick Earth and then select Greater Trip. Level 7 Kineticist, you will want to pick Spell Penetration and Fire. Level 8 Kineticist, you will want to pick Fire's Fury. Level 9 Kineticist, Greater Spell Penetration, and then you want to pick Torrent. Level 10 Kineticist, and you want to pick Enduring Earth. Level 11 Kineticist, you want to pick Toughness, and then Wall. Level 12 Kineticist, you want to pick Skill Focus Perception. Level 13 Kineticist, and you want to pick Improved Initiative and Deadly Earth. Level 14, now you can pick Kineticist here, but the guide recommends you pick Monk, specifically the Zen Archer subclass, and the feat Dodge. Level 15 Kineticist, you want to pick Tremor Sense and Improved Critical for Ray. Level 16 Kineticist, and here you pick Water. Level 17 Kineticist, you want to pick Weapon Finesse and Expanded Defenses, Shroud of Water. Level 18 Kineticist, and you want to pick Grappling. Level 19 Kineticist, and you want to pick Crane Style and Skill Focus Trickery. And finally, level 20 Kineticist, and you want to pick Cloud. Now, for your Demon spell priorities, level 1 spell of Demon spell is the Enlarge Person spell. For level 2, you want to prioritize Molten Orb, Blood Haze, Cat's Grace, and Mirror Image. Level 3 spells, you want to prioritize Fireball, Lightning Bolt, and Haste. Level 4 spells, you want to prioritize Abyssal Skin, Dragon's Breath, and Enervation. And for level 5, you'll want to prioritize Lifebane. And finally, the Mythic Paths. Level 1 Mythic Path feat, you will want to pick Kinetic Overcharge and Instrument of Freedom. Level 2 Mythic Path, you will want to pick Trip Mythic. Level 3 Mythic Path, you will want to pick Ascendant Element Fire. Level 4 Mythic Path, you'll want to pick Spell Penetration Mythic. Level 5 Mythic Path, you will want to pick Enforced Vigor. Level 6 Mythic Path, you will want to pick Toughness Mythic. Level 7, you will want to pick The Bigger They Are. Level 8, you will want to pick Improved Critical Mythic. Level 9, you will want to pick Archmage Armor. And level 10, you will want to pick Improved Initiative Mythic. But however, this one is a free slot, so if there is something else that you would rather pick, then you are free to pick whatever you fancy here. Now, for your demon aspects, you will want to first pick the aspect of Calavacus. Secondly, you will want to pick the aspect of Baelor. And finally, you will want to either pick between the aspect of Brimorak, Succubus, or Nabazu. You can choose either one of those three as your third option. With that, if you do have any questions or comments, then please do feel free to leave those in the comment section. I also would like to extend an invitation to the Discord server. You'll find a link to that in the description of the video. There is a dedicated channel for Pathfinder there, and I would love to have people that I can exchange ideas, theory crafting, and so forth with. So please consider joining the Discord server if you are interested in that. And also, if you have any class builds that you think are good and you would like to share them, and even if you would like me to make a video like this of them, then I would very, very happily present such a video on my channel. Finally, again, the full credit for this class build goes to InEffect, Shotamok, and What is Soul, and you'll find the link to it directly on neoseeker.com in the description of the video, of course. With that, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you all either in my Let's Play series or in another video on my channel.